Welcome back to another video by Mr. Project. In this episode, you wouldn't believe it, I have the intercooler piping, so we are going to be putting the intercooler on. I'm just looking for a knife so we can open up the box and we can have a look at what's inside it. Let's go and have a look. Here it is. Let's have a look. It's the same kit that I used on both of the VLs, so it should be pretty much exactly the same. Look at that. Everything that we need. So let's rip the front bar of this car off and get the intercooler mounted up and start running our pipes and making boost. This is my idea. This is what I'm planning on doing. I got rid of those brackets and I've just put some bolts straight in here, and then I can weld them straight to the front and not worry about brackets bending and stuff like that. And if you ever want to take it off, you can just cut it with a grinder and cut them off and they'll be gone. But that way it'll be solid mounted. So I think this is the best way to go, and that's the way I'm going to do it. Intercooler is all mounted. I just welded up just in there. You can see those little bolts that have been welded on. And that holds our intercooler on the front. Happy days, that's all done. Now I'm just going to hook up all the intercooler piping, and then I'm probably going to have to notch out that front bar, but we will get it done. Okay, so we're all good.
We're all good.
See if she doses up. See if she starts up, actually. Got to connect the battery.
Need some power?
She actually just dodged their nose.
Touched it out. $15. $15.
It's too much. So just cut the other shit here.
Yeah.
Traction on.
15. It's now a new afternoon, and we've managed to get the front bar back on, and on one side the pipe hangs out a little bit. I'll get a close up of that so you can see. We had to do a little bit of chopping there, and we just put some black paint on it so it doesn't stand out too much. Everything's back together, but we are having some issues. We've now run our boost gauge. Our boost gauge is actually on the driver's side, and I have a little pillar pod to put that in, so put that in at a later date. Let's talk about the problems that we're having with the car. So since I've ran the car, we were running about, literally it went from 15 to 20 PSI. That's way too much. Too much. This car can't handle that unless we upgrade the fuel system. Problem we now have is the airflow meter is not cooperating. So the car runs fine without it plugged in. With it plugged in, it's running a bit funky. I think it's seen too much boost, so we are just going to buy a new one of them. My next issue is I'm going to have to pull it all apart again. I really don't want to do it, but I'm just going to have to do it. The this actuator here, we've got the, what do we get? What do you call it? We got this thingy-majiggy, and we rigged it up so we can plug this into the air compressor. And the actuator is rated to 25 psi, so once you get to 25 psi that fully opens up. That is not what we want. So then we adjusted the wastegate to be half open, and it was still making 15 pounds of boost. So the way we're going to eliminate that problem is we are going to take the turbo off, weld it all closed, and we are going to add an external gate into the manifold, which is pretty much going to happen right about now. So I've pretty much just pulled everything apart, and then I've taken the gasket out, put this back on so I can figure out where I want my wastegate, and I've marked it. I've had this up in there where I'm going to put it. Pretty much where that blue dot is right there, directly on the bottom of that is where this pipe's going to sit. Can't really show you, but it pretty much goes underneath there like that, and that is where our wastegate's going to be. And that should stop all of our problems. But it's just a pain in the bum because we have to pull everything apart again, but it's got to be done. So that's pretty much what I've come up with. So we've drilled our hole. This is our little pipe, and I've sort of gave it a bit of a, whatever you want to call that, so it sits nicely flush with a tiny amount of gap. That's pretty much going to get welded on, and that is where our wastegate's going to sit. And then once that's done, we'll put this aside, and we will take the internal gate out of this and weld up the hole and put it back together. And then we're going to have to order our external gate. That's pretty much our gate welded on there, and we'll be able to weld our flange on top of that and have a gate there, and that'll sit in the car like so, underneath, hidden away, and that should control our boost pressure because that thing there is rubbish. So now let's work on the turbo and get that sorted out. This is where the internal gate used to sit, just here on this bracket. I've just literally chopped it straight off. Our rod used to go straight down into here, and I have cut it off and welded it closed so our flap inside covers the hole, and it's pretty much now a externally gated turbo, which is what we want because the internal gate was rubbish. Hopefully that hole should be big enough to control our boost. That's pretty much going to wrap this video up, guys. I'm very sorry that I'm still waiting for parts. I've been waiting for weeks, and then we have more problems with the gate and China turbos and internal gates and stuff like that. And it doesn't work, and now we've got to change and chop and do all these different sorts of stuff. But you get that on the big jobs. You get that when you build cars. Don't expect things to be right the first time. Expect it to do them at least 20 million times over, and then it'll be right. But until next time, share this video with your mates, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next one. I'm very sorry that I didn't get it all done, but in the next video we're going to have an external gate, and hopefully we'll have boost control and the car will run great. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one.